Hi, welcome back. So in my last video, I made my predictions for what I thought we could see in set 11 of Disney Lorcana Winterspell. I spent the majority of that video talking about how my hope / wish of how Ravensburger could get all three of the Disney A Christmas Carol movies into Winterspell and do it in what at least I thought would be a fun and interesting way. But I also mentioned a theory I had about the story for Winterspell. So basically what this video is, I'm going to be explaining that more and expanding on that. This is my first time using a script. I'm not reading it word for word, but I'm using it loosely to base what I'm speaking off. So I'm just gonna go into it, okay? So basically, my idea is that the winter in Winterspell isn't naturally occurring, but is instead a result of Elsa being sick. So basically, if you look at the key art for Winterspell that came from the 2nd anniversary panel at Gen Con, you'll see Stitch and Angel in the forefront, in the foreground. Where does Stitch and Angel live? Hawaii. And then if you look at the background of that image, you'll see snow-covered palm trees in the back, and in the front you'll see a snowman with sunglasses and a seashell for a nose. And if you think about that, in a place with palm trees and seashells, so that implies a beach, you wouldn't expect there to be a bunch of snow. This would imply, like I said earlier, that somebody or something caused this large amount of snow to happen. The obvious answer for this in Lorcana is Elsa spell, because if we're assuming that this was man-made, that like some character purposely or non-purposely did this, who else in Lorcana could it be? We don't have Pixar yet, so it couldn't be like Frozen. So it would make sense for it to be Elsa. Plus, that's literally what happens in her movie. In Frozen, we see Elsa after the ball party thing, where they open up the gates. We see Elsa start to lose control of her powers, and she runs away to the mountain, and she accidentally causes a massive blizzard to cover all of Arendelle. But I don't think this is something she's doing intentionally. Like, a lot of the Elsa glimmers we've seen in the game, I believe all of them actually have been in control of their powers. In fact, a lot of the ones we've seen have been based off designs from Frozen 2, by which time she was in the most control of her powers. So, I don't think this is just like a young Elsa who doesn't know what she's doing. What I think happened is that I said she was sick, right? So if you look at the short film Frozen Fever, we see in that short that when she gets sick, she loses some amount of control over her powers. Like every time she sneezes, she creates these things called snow geese. They're like little living snowmen, kind of like Olaf or Marshmallow, all of which we've seen. We've seen the snow geese with Olaf and Marshmallow on the enchanted version of Olaf Happy Passenger. So we already have a reference to Frozen Fever in the game already. Also, wouldn't little tiny snowmen be like the perfect choice for a set called Winterspell? But basically, I think this is happening because he's sick. So you're probably thinking, are you saying the whole plot of this set is Elsa got a cold? No, I don't think she got a cold. I think something more sinister is going on. So, as pretty much everybody has noticed, there are just like a bunch of villains doing scheming and doing a bunch of secretive stuff in the background since set 1 forward. And a lot of people, I definitely have taken notice, but a lot of people have noticed that specifically it seems like Hades and the Queen are up to something bad. So, I'm just gonna read some of these flavor text from some of these cards. Like Hades, Lord of the Underworld. Production is up, costs are down, the rivers are full. Time to talk expansion. Then we have Hades Meticulous Plotter, I'm sorry. This neat little scheme has Ursula's tentacles all over it. That sneaky Seawitz. Wait, I can use this. She can keep those obnoxious Illumineers busy while I roll out my own plan. I should probably mention at this point that Hades, Lord of the Underworld, is Amber, and that Meticulous Plotter is Sapphire, and that we've been told that that glimmers of different inks are separate glimmers, like that you could have two Sapphire Hades cards, and they could be, well, while being different cards, they could in story be the same character. If you have a Amber card and a Sapphire card, those are different characters. But we have seen villains, different glimmers of certain villains work together before, as we're about to get into with the Queen. So this is from the Queen, Coolest of Them All. She'd seen what the ink could do for other glimmers. What could it do for her? So in this card, she's stepping into one of the rivers of mixed ink that was created by the Flood back in Rise of the Floodborn, which, for people who might not know, even though I assume anybody listening to this does, turns Storyborn glimmers into Floodborn glimmers. So later in that same set, we only see one Floodborn, the Queen, called the Queen Fairest of Them All. And we also see a bunch of evil queens on a different card, with one at like the helm of a table, called the Queen, Crown of the Council. And that's what I was talking about earlier, how we see like a group of queens together, who we can assume are working together in some kind of way. And also, just to note, we have one of them who we can identify, because he's wearing like a blue head covering thing, and that is the Queen Diviner from the previous set, Ursula's Return. So what are both Hades and the Evil Queen known for? They're known for poisoning the heroes of their stories, or at least trying to. Hades tries to poison Hercules and fails, and then the Queen does poison Snow White. And so in the July 24th, 2025 Lorecast, we were told that Fabled is not going to have a direct effect on the largest story of Lorcana, and we can assume that in the set after that, Whispers in the Well, the Illumineers are probably going to be pretty busy dealing with whatever the heck the Whispers are supposed to be. So what if the story for Winterspell went something like this? With the power vacuum left in the wake of Reign of Jafar, and the Illumineers busy with the Whispers in the Well and all that jazz under the Illuminary, what if Hades or the Council of Queens, or both of them, poison an Elsa Glimmer, making her sick, triggering a giant snowstorm, and then they use the chaos caused by that to enact their evil plans? And also, I think that Ravensburger might be setting this up right now using Fabled. So, back in Simmering Skies, which was the celebration after Ursula was defeated, we see Jafar begin to enact his plan to take over Lorcana. And now look at this. Fabled is the set after Reign of Jafar, when Jafar was defeated. So if we look at some of the reprinted / I think one or two of the new cards from Fabled, we can see these characters pop up. We see Elsa Snow Queen, the Fifth Spirit, and Spirit of Winter all getting reprinted. We know Snow Queen is getting an epic, and the Fifth Spirit is getting a glimmer foil. Then we see the Queen Wicked and Vain, Royal Monarch, and Mirror Seeker getting reprinted. And Mirror Seeker's getting an epic, And then we have the Queen card, the Queen Conceited Ruler, who's getting an epic and a promo. And then Hades Inferno Schema is being reprinted and getting an enchanted. So, is this Ravensburger secretly setting up for this by having a bunch of these characters come back? Also, what got me thinking about this whole thing in the first place was a video I saw by Storyborn Dylan, where he was looking at this promotional art from, I believe it was Simmering Skies, that it was looking back at the flood and had a bunch of different pieces of lore in it. Like, if you've seen different promotional artwork, you'll see like different items from different Disney movies, like in these circular, clear globes or orbs. And those were being swept away, and he was talking about that. And one of the things that he focuses on is that there is the medallion from Hercules that Hercules has, that was given to him by Zeus. And who's the villain of that movie? Hades. So if he's white, and that is foreshadowing for something with Hercules going on in the future, could that connect to this? Maybe. But anyway, I just thought this was an interesting idea, and I had wanted to talk about it. Maybe in Winterspell, we'll see, I know we don't really have tokens as a thing, but maybe we'll see a legendary Elsa who has a sneezing ability, which just creates a whole bunch of snowy tokens, who knows. But, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this, because I've been thinking about this image a lot, and I've been trying to make this video for like 4 days, so glad I finally finished it. So, thank you for watching, and have a good day. Goodbye.